Good afternoon, Broncos and Bronco families. My name is Trista San Augustine, and I am the director of our one-stop office here at the Santa Clara University campus. And this presentation today will be discussing our Bursar's office and our one-stop office and financial aid and all of the services and resources that these offices offer to you. I'm here with my colleague, Cindy Tirado. She's the Director of Financial Aid Packaging, and she will be presenting along with me towards the end of this presentation. She'll be giving me some critical information about financial aid. So feel free to fast forward or hang tight and watch the whole presentation. The nice thing about this recording is that you can go back and review different areas that are of interest to you. So feel free to bookmark this and then use it as a resource. So we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so our Bursar's office is responsible for managing the integrity of the student accounting record. So every student here on campus will have a student account. And that's where all of the charges and credits for the university will show up for that particular student. The Bursar's office creates the billing statements, makes them available online for viewing, and it's easy to save the statements as a PDF and send them off to anyone who needs them. The Bursar's office is also responsible for gathering charges from other departments on campus, such as room and board from the housing department, health insurance charges from our Cowell Health Center, and any miscellaneous charges. All of that information gets presented onto the billing statement, and that's what we make available to you so that you can see what is being charged. We also administer the authorized payer payment portal. The authorized payer portal is for anyone who is assisting the students with paying the bill. Student, of course, has access at all times to their own payment portal, but they can also authorize anyone else to become an authorized payer so that that third party, including parents, has the opportunity to log in and view and pay the bills online. The Bursar's office is also responsible for processing any sort of refunds or outgoing payments to either to the students or parents, or to any refunds for overpayments for government agencies. This is the copy of the Bursar website homepage. This is a huge resource. I encourage you to bookmark this page for any and all resources related to finances. scu.edu/Bursar is where you'll go, and you'll find all of these links here to some little cheat sheets that allow students and parents to navigate through the system, either the student's workday system or the parent's authorized payer portal. You'll see here as well that this parent orientation, this slide deck is available on this website. So you can choose to listen to the recording on repeat, or you can just view the slides here on the Bursar's office website. We do understand that parents play a huge role in paying for the bill and assisting students with the process of applying for financial aid, and we so appreciate that. We do need everyone to understand that the students are the student of record. They are the one that is attending Santa Clara, and ultimately they are responsible for making sure that they adhere to all of the financial policies, including paying bills on time. We know, however, that students generally will need help with that, and that's why we ask parents to be heavily involved in watching videos like this, researching on the website, becoming an authorized payer, and we'll go over all of that information in this session. Students are required during their new student onboarding in their workday portal to sign an annual financial agreement. Students have access to the verbiage that they have signed in their Workday portal, and parents have access here at this URL, scu.edu/Bursar/financial responsibility. And you'll be able to see what the student is agreeing to, and this is a required agreement each year. During the summer months, we will remind students to complete their new student onboarding this 1 year, and also the returning student onboarding or the fall preparation checklist in subsequent years. Most students at this date and time have already completed the onboarding steps, but if you have not, it's not too late. We just want to make sure that all the new student onboarding, including the financial agreement, are completed in the student's Workday portal prior to the student's registration date when they register for classes. And that happens during the student's orientation date. So FERPA will become familiar to you if it's not familiar already. FERPA is not a school rule. This is a federal regulation, and it's the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act. This is essentially similar to HIPAA for healthcare. This is FERPA for higher education, which essentially means that the student has a right to their own privacy. As soon as they register for classes in higher education, they have a right to their own privacy. Any information that they would like the university to disclose to third parties, they have to authorize us to do so. And we allow students to do that in their Workday portal on the FERPA release page. And we'll show you what that looks like so that students can submit the FERPA release. This is a one and done, so students will complete it prior to their first year attending Santa Clara, and they don't need to make any changes unless they would like to. This allows parents or any other third party to call our office or to send us an email to ask for specific information on the student account. And we're happy to provide that information. We just need the FERPA release on file. So this may seem very different than in high school, when high schools shared everything with families and third parties. We would like to do the same, but we just need this release form on file. So the FERPA release and the authorized payer that I had mentioned before are two very different but critical permissions. So we ask students to set up their parents on the FERPA release and also to set up their parents as an authorized payer. Again, the FERPA release allows us to speak with someone other than the student on the phone and communicate over email. And the authorized payer allows the parent or third party to have their own username and password to log into the payment portal. So 24/7, a parent or other third party can log in and view and pay the bills, and you don't need to ask the student for any passwords or any additional information to log in. The student has access to their Workday portal. Parents don't need access to Workday, but we do highly encourage parents or anyone who's helping to pay the bill to be set up as an authorized payer. This is the screenshot that you can fast forward or rewind to this section of the presentation so that students can get a little bit of help completing the FERPA release. All the instructions are here on the screenshot, and the student can complete the FERPA release in their Workday portal for as many people as they would like. So if there are both parents and aunts, uncles, grandparents, anyone who you think may need to at some point contact our office for information, students, you are more than welcome to set up the FERPA release for more than one person. Setting up an authorized payer, as I mentioned, is equally important, and this is also completed in the student's Workday portal. The authorized payer setup is a two-step process. The first step is the students, and again, feel free to use this screen as a little cheat sheet to get you started. You can set up an authorized payer by starting in the Workday portal. The system will redirect you to the payment portal. And that is where you can send a payer invitation and set up your parents by simply adding their first name, last name, and email address into the portal. And that will immediately send an email to the authorized payer. So for all of you authorized payers, just know that as soon as the student sets you up, you will receive an email from onestop@scu.edu, and that email will contain your username and a temporary password that you can use to log in to the authorized payer portal. You will be prompted to change your password. Please write down your username and password, and you'll be able to log in to the portal 24/7 for the next 4 years with your username and password. So our billing process. Billing is processed electronically. We're not sending any bills through the mail. Everything will be made available online through the student's Workday portal and through the parent's authorized payer portal. The billing statement will include all charges and all credits. So if you recall, you most likely made a $500 admission deposit and also a $500 housing deposit. So you will be sitting with $1,000 in credits, which will go towards the first billing statement that comes out on August 1st. And the bill will show additional financial aid, reducing the cost, and the bill at the bottom will show the amount that is due for the fall quarter. And again, billing statement reminders are sent via email to all students and all authorized payers each month. This is a screenshot of the payment portal. So students and parents will see the same view. Parents will see it through their authorized payer portal, and students will see through their Workday portal. Anything you need to navigate to is going to be on this left-hand side here. You'll be able to make payments, enroll in a 3-month payment plan, view all of your prior transactions, and view the billing statement. So you'll see the statement option on the left-hand side and also the blue link to view the statements on the right-hand side. So if anyone helping to pay the bill needs an actual statement, we have that here on the payment portal. In addition, this overview page is usually the most convenient page to just show exactly what is due without all the detail. And then you can view the detail under the activities detail. Here is a sample copy of the billing statement itself. So if you on the prior screen were to click on the view statements, you would see a statement similar to this. For any payments that are sent to us in the mail, we still take payments mailed through the US mail. We have a PO box, which is listed here for all of our payments. So we don't want to commingle payments being mailed to our street address, which is the same address that all other university mail comes to. We have a PO box specifically for payments. We also do have our street address, which is used for overnight payments. So if anyone needs to mail a payment overnight mail and needs a street address, we absolutely can accommodate that. But for the most part, we ask that all payments go through the PO box. And you'll see here on the sample statement, we have all statement activity. So we have room and board charges, tuition charges, other fees, any payments that have been made, and any financial aid that is pending, any anticipated aid. All of that is calculated out to get the total amount due at the bottom. So this is the amount that we ask the families to pay by the due date of the 21st of each month that the bill is due. So when to pay? The payment deadlines never change. We always ask families to pay by the 21st of the month. So as you remember, statements come out on the 1st of each month, and we allow 21 days for families to make arrangements to pay that bill by the 21st. And The same thing will happen in the winter quarter. So we will bill on December 1st, and all students and authorized payers will receive an email reminder that says, hey, don't forget to check your billing statement, which is located in your portal. So then you would log in and view the billing statement on December 1st and March 1st for the winter and the spring terms respectively. And then each of the due dates is the 21st of those months. We do bill every month. So not just in August, December, and March, but in all of the other months, we do create a billing statement. Many times those statements will just simply show a zero balance because there is nothing that's been billed. However, if there is, for whatever reason, a late charge that comes onto your account in September, for instance, the August bill is generated and paid by August 21st, and we will bill again on September 1st, just to pick up any incidental charges that may or may not be there. Again, the September, October, November, and so on, those bills are generally showing a zero balance, but we do encourage all students and authorized payers to log in quickly just to confirm that the balance is zero and just to ensure that there are no incidental charges that are coming up mid-quarter. The payment due date again is the 21st of each month, and if payment is not received and posted to the account by the 21st, a $100 late payment fee will be assessed, and more importantly, a financial hold, which prevents registration for the next term. That's generally what the students are more concerned about, because any financial hold on your account, or most holds in general, will prevent registration for a future quarter. So if a family is having difficulty paying, we definitely don't want to generate additional charges by allowing additional registration. We want to help families pay their initial bill, and then we allow registration for the next term. So as I mentioned earlier on, students will be registering for their fall quarter classes during their orientation session for the fall. And then in the winter, winter quarter registration opens in November. So students will be registering for winter quarter classes by themselves in their residence halls. They will be given an assigned date and time to register, and they can log on to their payment portal, to their Workday portal, to register for those classes. What we don't want to happen is when a student is all prepared and ready to register for their winter classes, and they log on to their Workday portal and they're ready to register during their assigned time, only to find out that they have a hold on their account that prevents registration. Then panic sets in a little bit, and students are concerned they may not get their classes that they need. So we just want to make sure that students and authorized payers are making sure that the balances are paid timely, and that students don't have holds on their accounts as we approach the next registration period. We do communicate through email, and also we encourage students to follow us on our social media so that we can remind you of any dates and deadlines that are coming up. There are many different ways to pay. One is through the authorized payer portal, and of course students can pay through their Workday portal, and parents pay through their authorized payer portal via what we call an e-check or ACH, which is simply entering your bank account number and routing number to make a payment through the payment portal. We do not accept credit or debit cards of any kind. So even if you're paying through your checking account, do not use your debit card number. We do need that checking account number to be used on the authorized payer and the student Workday portal. So if you are transferring money from an investment account, you'll want to transfer that money into your regular checking or savings account, and then make an online payment through your regular checking or savings. We also accept payments by mail, so please mail to the PO box. International wire transfers are made through a third party called Flywire, which provides us with the very best conversion rates and wire transfer fees. We do accept payments in the one-stop office, and anyone is welcome to come in and submit their payments in the form of a check to us or to log on to our payment kiosks here in the office to make those payments. We accept 529 college savings payments through the mail, and also through some of the 529 companies are signed up with digital distribution or an online payment. So if you do have a 529 college savings account, generally they only require a simple phone call. So once you receive the bill on August 1st, you can pick up the phone and call your company and let them know, my student attends Santa Clara, the billing is due in August, and we would like the investment company to pay Santa Clara whatever is on the bottom of that billing statement on the authorized payer portal. So we do encourage all families, when you make that phone call to the investment company, please ask them if they are set up for digital distribution with Santa Clara. If so, it's a very simple, quick, and easy process to send those funds electronically to Santa Clara to be credited to the student account. If the company is not yet set up with Santa Clara for electronic distribution, a paper check is more than sufficient. We just need to allow a couple weeks for processing and mailing. So if we can get started on initiating that 529 payment earlier in the month rather than later, that's plenty of time to get payments through the mail and processed by August 21st. This is a screenshot of what the payment plan screen looks like in your authorized payer portal, and also in the student portal if students are setting up payment plans. We do offer a 3-month payment plan each term. So we don't have the option for an annual or a 9-month payment plan. We do offer the 3-month payment plan, which splits the quarters payment over 3 months. And then we ask that you re-enroll again in a 3-month payment plan for the winter term in December, and in the spring term, for the spring term in March. So the way that the payment plan works is you would set up the payment plan electronically in your authorized payer portal or your student's workday portal. And the amount due at the bottom of the statement is simply divided by 3, and 1/3 of the amount is debited from your checking or savings account each month, starting in August, September, and October. So in those 3 months during the fall quarter, you're splitting the payments to be paid evenly over all three months. So the due date to enroll in the payment plan is the same due date as if you were paying in full, August 21st. And you would log in as an authorized payer, choose the payment plan option, and then your payments, the system calculates your payments to be divided equally among all 3 months, August, September, and October. And the subsequent payments in September and October will be auto debit from the same checking account that you used for the August payment. And that would be on the 15th of each of those months. So the example here is showing a spring quarter payment plan that's being set up in March, and you'll see the second payment is scheduled for April 15th, and the third payment is scheduled for May 15th. So this is just the example showing a 3-month payment plan for the spring. Same thing will happen in fall and winter, but you do need to re-enroll each term in the payment plan. The interest does not accrue on the unpaid amounts. It simply sits as an amount due on the student's account until those auto debits are processed on the 15th of each month. There is a $40 enrollment fee per term that is added on to the first payment of the plan. So it'll be added on to the August payment for the fall term. Tuition insurance is a option that we offer here at Santa Clara. Similar to all other insurances, car insurance, homeowners insurance, travel insurance, pet insurance, and so on. We purchase insurance hoping that we never need to use it. Tuition insurance is the same. All undergraduate students are automatically enrolled in the tuition insurance plan and charged $57 per quarter for the tuition insurance. Tuition insurance kicks in at the point if a student needs to completely withdraw from the university at any point in the term due to medical or mental health reasons. So here at Santa Clara, we're a quarter school. So we have a fall, winter, and spring term. They are 10 weeks long with 1 week of finals. So things happen very quickly, and the quarters go by very fast. So if there is a situation where a student might need to miss a week or 2 weeks of the term, that could have a negative effect on grades. And then families may want to think about, is it better to withdraw from the university and come back when the student is well, rather than barreling through the term when a student is not feeling well. So the doer's tuition insurance, again, will kick in and reimburse the family for 80% of the out-of-pocket tuition cost for any diagnosed medical or mental health withdrawal. This is the student withdraws completely from the school and then returns in a new quarter when they are healthy and ready. This is a tuition insurance, so housing is not included. Housing will be prorated. The amount that you pay for housing once a student withdraws will be prorated depending on when the student moves out. And again, all students are already automatically enrolled in the plan. We find that it is worth it for students to be enrolled in the plan at such a nominal fee of $57 per quarter. We have seen the tuition insurance save families literally thousands of dollars, depending on when the student withdraws for the term. If for whatever reason you choose to opt out of the plan, the deadline to do so is the Sunday before school starts, which is September 22nd. And the website here is where families would log in to complete the online waiver. That means that the student would no longer be enrolled in the tuition insurance, and the $57 charge would be reversed from the student account as long as the waiver is done by the deadline. This is an annual waiver, so if you decide to complete the waiver, it's done once per year, and then you can reassess for next year. We highly encourage families to have their students remain enrolled in the tuition insurance. Again, we've seen it save families thousands of dollars. And in a situation where a student has to withdraw due to medical reasons, you have more important things to do, hospital stays, making sure that the student is well cared for, rather than having to worry about paying for a term that the student is not getting credit for. Refund policies. So we have two definitions of refund policies. So we'll go over both of those. The tuition refund policy has to do with students completely withdrawing from Santa Clara University. So as new students, you have the first week of class to make sure that Santa Clara is the right place for you in order to change your mind, withdraw, and get all of your money back. So if you choose to withdraw, if any student chooses to withdraw during the first week of class, all tuition is reversed. And if a student decides in the second week or third week, the amount of tuition refund goes down significantly, 50% and 25% respectively. Once we hit week 4, there's no tuition refund for withdrawing from the university. Again, this has nothing to do with dropping classes. This is simply withdrawing from the university and not attending, not getting any credit for any classes. So this is where the doer's tuition insurance kicks in to save you up to 80% of your money back. Because if the withdrawal is due to a medical or mental health reason, the doer's tuition insurance kicks in. The second definition of refunds is for credit balances on a student account. So if a student has an overpayment or financial aid has overpaid, the student will sit with a credit balance or an overpayment on their student account. And during the second week of class, we begin processing refunds to students for any overpayment. Sometimes that credit balance is from a parent loan. This happens frequently when our juniors and seniors decide to move off campus, and parents are borrowing a parent loan to pay for a student's off-campus rent. That credit balance will be refunded to the student so that the student can pay their off-campus rent for the months in that quarter. And if a family does want to make a large overpayment and have that credit sit on the account, for instance, you would like to pay for fall and winter quarter costs together now, just to sort of set it and forget it, that is an option, but we would need to place a no refund hold on the student's account so that the refund process does not automatically refund back the payment that you made to us. So that's something to think about as well. So we encourage all students to enroll in direct deposit so that if at any point there is a credit balance on the student's account, we don't have to issue a check. Checks take a long time to print and a long time to mail to you. And generally the checks are mailed home, but the students are here living in the residence halls. So the easiest way for us to get any overpayment to you is to have you set up direct deposit. And we have a little flyer here showing that we're giving away a basket full of goodies from the Santa Clara bookstore for those students who set up direct deposit in their workday portal between now and the end of September. So please, students, go ahead and sign up for direct deposit. That way you don't have to remember to do it when you have a credit balance or if you have a credit balance. It's securely held in your workday portal, and that way we can send any credit balance to the account number on file. If parents need the refund to be sent to them, you're welcome to set up direct deposit in your workday portal using your parents' banking information, just a regular checking or savings account. So we're coming up on the end of the Bursar presentation, so a little bit of homework here, just a couple reminders to have you refer back to this page. We do find that it's helpful for families to set up a checking account with your student on the account so they can begin getting used to using a debit card if they haven't yet, establishing some financial responsibility. And a lot of families tend to transfer the payment due into the student's checking account to allow the student that additional responsibility of logging in by the payment deadline to make the payment themselves. So it's just baby steps towards financial responsibility and figuring out how the whole checking account process works. Please have your students set up an authorized payer for you. That is in the authorized payer portal where you as parents would sign up and change your password. Students set that up in your workday portal. The FERPA release is also in the workday portal. If you choose to opt out of the tuition insurance, the deadline is here. The health insurance students have must be covered under a medical insurance plan. Most students are covered under their parents' plan. If that is the case, we ask that you complete the health insurance waiver to let us know that you have coverage under another plan. We do have a university health insurance plan, which is a great insurance plan for those students who don't have coverage elsewhere. You do not need to be double covered. So if you have health insurance, please make sure to log on to your MySCU portal to click on the Gallagher tile. This needs to occur just about 2 to 3 days after you enroll in classes. So when you're here for your orientation session, you register for classes, mark the calendar for a few days after that so that you can complete the health insurance waiver. The deadline to complete the waiver is September 27th. And we here in the One Stop are here to help. So parents, once the FERPA release is set up, please call us, please email us. We're here to help. And students, anytime you have questions, please reach out. Once you're here and settled in the residence halls, we are open. You can come over and chat with us in the office. And we're happy to help anytime. Here's our hours and our phone number and our email address. So please reach out. At this point, I will stop presenting, and Cindy Tirado, our Director of Financial Aid Packaging, will take over to let you know everything you need to know about financial aid.
Thanks again, Trista. Thank you for joining us today. If you've hung in there this long, we'll go over some financial aid details that questions you might have. A lot of you by this point have already either joined a Zoom session with our financial aid office staff, or have scheduled an appointment or met with us during preview weekend. So the majority is just going to be just some reminders and also what happens next. So I'm going to be talking about aid renewability, cost of attendance, how we determined cost of attendance, loan options, private scholarships, and then the next steps, what happens after for the following years. So aid renewability. So if you have SCU Bronco, SCU Need-Based Grant and Merit Scholarships, if you're a first-year student, those grants are renewable for 12 consecutive quarters. This does not include summer. For our transfer students, that is 9 consecutive quarters, 3 years. You also must maintain what we call satisfactory academic progress, which it's component of GPA, your pace, and your maximum time frame. And so you want to keep in mind, anything you drop after that first week of classes, it is going to affect your units that are required. It counts your units that are required towards your graduation. So students, if you're going to make changes to your classes, or if you're going to drop a class, make sure that you're dropping it during that first week of class. If you click on the hyperlink on the PowerPoint presentation, it'll also take you to our satisfactory academic progress policy, so you can get more information on how it works and how we determine it. We do review it after each quarter, just to make sure that students are maintaining it. If you have any questions, you can also schedule an appointment with your financial aid counselor. The other thing that you want to keep in mind, Santa Clara funding and federal aid, all in order for that to pay, the units that you are taking must count towards your degree. So they have to count towards your primary major, and we do check that. And if they don't, when you're in your Workday portal, it'll show your aid adjusted. Now, if you have any need-based grant or Jesuit Ignatian or any federal or state aid that I'll mention below, you must complete the FAFSA every year. The FAFSA is available October 1st. We're already hearing from the Department of Education that it might have some hiccups October 1st. So I'd say wait probably till November to do the FAFSA. The good thing about returning students, so for next year, your student won't have to have it done so early, so they'll have a little bit of time, and I'll review that later on in the presentation. The other thing that the student is seeing on their financial aid award, if they did a FAFSA, is federal and state aid. Pell Grant is an entitlement award, so if the student is eligible, depending on their student aid index, the student received Pell Grant. And depending on their student aid index, there's a max amount that they can receive and a minimum amount. Federal supplemental grant, this is a grant given to our neediest student. It is dependent on funding availability. So once we run out of this federal supplemental grant, we don't have any funds available. So we try to give it to as many students as we can. So doing the FAFSA earlier would definitely help the student. Cal Grant is our state grant. So that is for California residents. They have to have the FAFSA completed by the March 2nd deadline and make sure to maintain a 2.0 GPA. Federal work study are funds that are paid through a paycheck. So if you have the federal work study on the offer letter, we've already accepted this for you. You don't have to use it, but it helps the student get a job on campus. That's actually how I started in financial aid over 20 years ago, is through a federal work study job. The benefit of being a federal work study student is that we know that working with us, that you are going to have finals, you're going to have midterms. So we're more willing to work with your schedule than if you were working off campus. And then the other thing that you received were federal subsidized and unsubsidized loans. Again, for all of these, you do have to complete that FAFSA every year. And again, these may vary depending on what that FAFSA SAI may be. But if you have any questions, you can always schedule an appointment with one of the financial aid counselors. So cost of attendance. So the top two, the tuition and fees and the housing and food, these are direct costs that you are billed through the university. So those are what most parents will borrow for. The bottom ones are indirect costs. So these you're not billed through the billing office through Bursars, but you can borrow for these if you choose to. And then the total cost of attendance, which is the 85,686, that is what your total financial aid cannot go over. So this is what helps us determine what type of aid the student's going to get. So the way financial aid determines need-based aid would be the cost of attendance minus that SAI, if you have a FAFSA, will determine that need. And it helps us determine what type of need-based aid, if the student's eligible for federal work study, or if they're eligible for a subsidized loan, or if they're only eligible for unsubsidized loan. Any scholarships that the student receives from private donors cannot exceed that 85,686. So sometimes we'll reduce a plus loan or reduce a private loan. Very rarely do we reduce our money. If we do, we always tell the student that we will increase it back to the original amount for the following year. And that's because the student has so much money. But those are very rare cases. You want to make sure you contact our office through the one stop to let us know if that's your situation. The other thing that parents sometimes will take is the federal plus loan. Again, for the plus loan, the parent plus loan, you do have to have a FAFSA on file. It is a credit-based loan. It's not as difficult to get as a home loan or a car loan. They don't look at debt to income ratio. They look at the parent's FICO score. I've even seen parents that have been denied that get an endorser then be eligible for the Parent Plus loan. You will have to complete your master promissory note by using your FSA ID. And you'll have to go to student8.gov, the same place you went to complete the FAFSA, and you'll use your FSA ID and password to log in. This is again under the parent's name. You only want to use your information. Once you do fill out that application, it's going to be sent directly to the school. We're going to go ahead and process it, and then the student is going to get a new offer letter within 3 to 5 business days, and it'll show the Parent Plus loan as offered and accepted. So for 24-25, the interest rate is 9.08, and the origination fee is 4.228%. And that is a fixed variable, so that will be the interest rate for 24-25. For 25-26, it's going to change depending on what the Department of Education gives us. The other loan that you may be eligible for is private educational loans. So these are loans under the student's name. And because they don't have any established credit, they will need a credit-worthy cosigner. These, the financial aid office or One Stop cannot recommend one bank over the other. We ask that families do their own research, base their decision on what's important to them. So these are the ones where the interest may be variable, or if the payment is missed, then that interest may increase. So you want to be very, very careful with these loans, just because there isn't no protection for the student. Now, if the student doesn't make payments on these loans, then it will be the cosigner who is liable for these loans. And I forgot to mention, for the Parent Plus loan, the repayment starts 6 months after the last disbursement of that year, so 6 months after spring. You can defer it to graduation or until they drop below halftime. The same thing for this, 6 months after they drop below halftime or graduate, the repayment on this loan is due, and both of these are accruing interest. The other thing that we always ask students to look for, not just because they've already started, we have a lot of great students that are coming to Santa Clara, is look for outside scholarships. So anytime you can minimize the borrowing that you have to do we want to encourage that. So these are some search engines that you can do. Just know that never pay money to receive money. If you have any questions on any scholarship applications that you're, submitting, you always want to send them to the One Stop, and we can take a quick glance to make sure that they are legit and they're actual scholarships. A lot of times we have a lot of students that look locally to see if they're eligible for any scholarships. So again, any money that you can apply for that's going to minimize the borrowing that you're doing, we highly encourage that. The next steps that you want to take is if you haven't accepted any aid, the student wants to log into the student portal, and they want to go ahead and accept or decline any awards. So any free money we've already accepted for them. This would be any student loans. They can go ahead and accept it. And also, if they're not going to use their federal work study, they can go ahead and decline that. The way they would go in there is they can go ahead and select what aid they don't want to accept, and then they'd have to decline it for the term. So it'll be fall, winter, and spring. Again, free money we've already accepted for you. And if you don't want the loans, just so you're not receiving the reminders to complete the master promissory note or do the entrance counseling, you want to make sure that you decline them. And if you later choose that you need these loans, you can always email the One Stop and we can reinstate them if that does happen. So again, federal student loan information. So most students will have either a subsidized loan or an unsubsidized loan or both. If you do want these loans, you want to make sure you accept them, as I showed you before. And then the student will need to log in with their FSA ID. And every year we have a parent that's trying to be helpful, that tries to do the MPN for the student, which is the master promissory note. And I have to remind the parent, this is a student loan. We want to make sure that they understand it's money they have to pay back. So in order to teach them financial responsibility, this is why the Department of Education is really strict on who does this master promissory note. So for their loans, the student's going to have to log in with their FSA ID and complete this entrance counseling. Once they've completed this entrance counseling and they've accepted their loans and done the master promissory note, then the aid will disperse 10 days prior to the quarter starting, as long as they're enrolled at 6 units and their aid isn't exceeding their cost of attendance. So if you have any action items, and I tell students, just check them periodically. You will have an action item awaiting for you. And this happens sometimes if the student is selected for verification, where we need additional documentation, tax forms of verification form, or if you have what we call a C flag, a citizenship flag, where we need additional documentation to verify your citizenship. You want to make sure that you submit those documents to us as soon as possible. So here are the instructions. The current items are going to be listed on the left-hand side. You want to select an item to view and click on the detailed instructions. So it'll tell you what additional information we need. And then you can upload your document, and then it'll get sent to your financial aid counselor once you hit submit. So once you hit submit, it'll get sent to somebody in the office, and then we'll review it. And if we need additional information, we'll go ahead and send you an email or another document action item that needs to be completed. So just a reminder, you want to keep an eye, anything that's coming from the financial aid office, which we send all our emails through our One Stop. So anything coming from One Stop, you want to pay close attention because it's having to do with possibly a hold on your account, or we need additional documentation for your financial aid. You also need to keep looking at your Workday student portal, make sure that none of the action items are missing. And if they are, you want to make sure to take care of them as soon as possible. The great news is that if you did complete a CSS profile this year, next year you don't have to do it. Again, just moving forward, you want to make sure that you do the FAFSA or the DREAM application just to continue to be eligible for federal or state aid. Now, if you haven't done the FAFSA and you want to apply for that federal plus loan, or you want the student to be eligible for federal loans, it's not too late. You can still do the 24-25 FAFSA to be eligible for aid. And again, thank you for your time. I know this was a long presentation. I hope you received all the information you needed, but if you have any questions, call the One Stop, email us, and we're all here to assist you. Thanks again.
Great. Thank you, Cindy, and thank you everyone for watching the video. And yes, contact us with any questions. We look forward to welcoming you in September when school starts. Thank you very much and go Broncos.
Go Broncos.